This is Designer AM, and I want to do a series on advocating for disabled foster kids. I grew up in foster care. I just have a little bit to add to the conversation. First of all, I hope y'all are doing well today. The first thing I'm going to mention is CASA Workers. Without them, we don't have a lot of representation in court, in custody battles, and pretty much anything. A lot of our placements are discussed without us in the room. A lot of our court is done where most of the representation goes to the parties abusing us. We pretty much fight to not be in the room. We don't want to relive that trauma. We don't want to re-experience those things again in front of an audience. From the moment we enter care, we have to relive those experiences over and over and over. Our therapy tells us we want to do that. It helps us to deaden the experience and have it not so upfront, not so emotional for us. We do that over and over and over again. Every time we go to a new placement, we are of course given a new therapist, and they want to hear, of course, everything that happened, all the details, all the pain. They want us to relive it over and over and over again, and it's supposed to dampen down our emotions. And then a year or two later, we get into a courtroom, and without representation, our families get to tell their story. And if those were the people who harmed us, or whatever caretaker harmed us, they get to make themselves angels. They get to make sure that everything that happened has been cooled over, that every experience was, of course, an overreaction, and there's no one there to tell our story, except for a CASA worker. A CASA worker is a court-appointed representative that comes and gets our side of the story and tells it in court. Usually, a court representative, they're pretty much the only person who's ever talked to us besides our caseworkers. They come and detail by detail whatever questions the judge has, whatever questions are going to come up in court, they come and discuss it with us. And we've been, of course, retelling, and usually after a couple of years, it's not so emotional. It's much easier to then tell the CASA worker what's happened to us, why it is we don't want to return, or why it is we want to return. Whatever it is, the CASA person is the only representative we're going to speak to in most cases. They have the burden of taking on hundreds of cases and being that representative of children. Having been through it myself, I know I wasn't allowed in the courtroom. I wasn't allowed to tell my side of the story. Although I had to tell it again and again to doctors and therapists and all kinds of people, when it finally came time to make the person who hurt me have some consequences, I wasn't there. I wasn't allowed to give my details, to explain how scarred I was, how traumatized I was. But a woman from the courts, a CASA worker, came, and I got to tell her, and she was in court. And I'm not sure without her if any of my story would have been told, if they wouldn't have just believed the charismatic sociopath that was my father. They would have ate it all up like everyone else did. It took so much effort on my part to tell someone, to get away from that situation, to finally, after holding it in for so long, have a teacher and have a counselor just believe me and get me out of that situation, and to imagine that all of that would have been undone because a CASA worker wasn't present, because no one believed a child, because no one even heard my side of the story, is terribly, terribly tragic. I really believe in my heart that CASA workers are necessary, that representatives of the court are necessary, and that without them, I may have had to endure much more violence, abuse, sexual assault. So I am very thankful for them. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.